Hello and welcome to our very first pop-up masterclass designed for beginners. My name is Lisa and I'm in charge of customer success at Pops. In this session, we'll learn how to engage with your audience and grow your revenue with pop-ups. So, if you're just starting out with your pop-ups campaigns or if you want to learn how you can leverage them on your website, you are at the right place. We'll start this session with a small intro explaining what people hate so much about pop-ups. Then we'll see how to make the most out of them, looking at real customers' campaigns that had great results. And finally, deep dive into some best practices and conversion tips. We'll share everything. Hopefully, you'll leave this session with easy, actionable steps to improve your website experience and conversion rates. This presentation is based on real data and examples. In order to extract the best practices that I'm about to share throughout this session, we pulled close to 3,000 pop-up campaigns from our own user base, which all in all accounted for close to 300 million pop-up displays across all industries. Okay, I know these examples are a bit extreme and may seem outdated, but the truth is when we think about pop-ups, this is the image that pops into most people's minds. If you're new to pop-ups, you might be afraid that they could hurt your website experience and conversion rates. And it's normal because most of people think that they are annoying, create a lot of frustration and noises. So why do so many websites use pop-ups? Well, because it's a fantastic communication channel to reach your visitors and make sure that they get your message. They are highly visible and they immediately catch a visitor's attention, which is also why they have to be used carefully, and you can set them up so that they only display for a specific segment of your audience. So forget what you know about pop-ups. They are powerful if you use them wisely with the right message, the right target, and the right layout. Now let's see how it can benefit your business. We consider 4 types of goals you can use pop-ups for. Building your audience, collecting emails, phone numbers, or get new followers on your social media channels. Increasing revenue, use pop-ups to reduce cart abandonment, increase sales and average order value. Getting insights and data on your visitors through pop-up surveys. And finally, communicate with your audience by sharing important information such as product and brand updates. Now let's deep dive into each of these use cases and see some examples of campaigns that you can run to get started with pop-ups and achieve your goals. Pop-up forms are very effective if you're looking to build and grow your contact list. They will enable you to capture your anonymous visitors on site so that you'll be able to nurture them via email or SMS marketing and turn them into potential leads and customers. Growing your audience takes time, but it's essential whether you're a startup or an established company. So start with what you know and then try new approaches to expand your audience over time. All the efforts that you put in your marketing will eventually pay. Here's an example of a success story. Manière de Voir, a clothing brand. They signed up with Pops in February 2019. The first month they collected 589 emails, and after 2 years, they collected more than 200,000 emails in total. Okay, now let's see some campaigns in action. Discounts are without any doubt one of the most powerful weapons for e-commerce marketers. They act as a powerful incentive that converts website visitors into subscribers and customers. The campaign here targets first-time anonymous visitors with a $20 off discount incentive on their first order. The brand is collecting 3 key information here: the email address, the first name, and the gender. The smart marketer behind this campaign definitely knows the value of email list segmentation. Collecting the first name and gender on top of the email allows the brand to send personalized and targeted emails with relevant offers. Segmenting your audience is crucial because it will help you increase your email opening rates and conversions by delivering targeted and valuable messaging for them. The brand collected more than 200,000 emails with this campaign. Instead of usual pop-ups that offer a discount coupon like we've seen, you can also create gamified email pop-ups with the help of tools like Pops. Gamified email pop-ups not only helps in building your email list, but also increases the effectiveness of your pop-up campaigns as they have proven to show the best results in terms of conversion rates. In this campaign, the brand was also targeting new visitors to capture their emails. 809 emails were collected with a 26% conversion rate. Now, this campaign intends to generate quality leads through a content offer, a free ebook. The pop-up is displayed only after the visitor has seen 2 pages of the website. In other words, this brand doesn't want to show the pop-up to anyone, but only to visitors who showed a minimum amount of interest in the website content. 134 emails were collected so far with a conversion rate of 62%. We all know that getting traffic to your website is only half the battle. Crafting a conversion rate optimization strategy to turn those visitors into revenue is another story. Most visitors will abandon your site without converting. It's a fact. Maybe they got distracted, maybe your value proposition wasn't strong enough, maybe they didn't find what they were looking for. Whatever the reason may be, the question is this: what can be done to convert those abandoning visitors? Conversion rate optimization, or CRO, is a set of practices that helps you to convert visitors into paying customers and avoid cart abandonment. And pop-ups can help you with that. Let's check out some campaigns examples to give you a better idea. In this campaign, the brand is using an exit intent pop-up targeting abandoning visitors who have seen at least 2 pages on the site. Their goal was to keep them on the website and drive more sales by catching the visitors' attention with a limited time offer when they are about to leave. The click-through rate for this campaign was 5%. This probably resulted in hundreds of shirts sold, which is a pretty good return on investment for the time spent on setting up one single campaign, right? In this example, the campaign was intended to drive more sales on a specific line of products, supplements for athletes, through a limited time offer, a 15% off discount coupon. Interesting thing to note is that the brand chose to target visitors who have seen at least 3 pages of the site. Indeed, adding a time or a page delay is a good way to target the most engaged visitors who will be more likely to convert. The click-through rate for this campaign was 9%. Pop-ups also present a unique opportunity to cross-sell and upsell. Brands can take advantage by recommending products that the visitor has already expressed an interest in. Like in this example, the pop-up was triggered to display on the checkout page, and the goal was to increase average order value by suggesting to add a product the visitor showed interest in during the session with a special discount. To increase the average order value, you could also offer free shipping when the cart reached a certain value. In this campaign, the brand chose to display a free shipping offer to shoppers whose cart value was below £150. Many online businesses find they have quite a high cart abandonment rate. One way to counter this is to use exit pop-ups specifically designed for people leaving a cart with items in it. Often the reason people leave their cart is because they are having second thoughts or because of the shipping costs. So, an easy attention-grabbing offer could be to offer free shipping or, like in this example, a special discount incentive. The campaign targeted abandoning shoppers who had more than $80 in cart value and was only activated for 24 hours. But as you can see, the click-through rate is sick. Nearly 50% of abandoning shoppers stayed on the site and probably made the purchase that day. All in all, exit pop-ups are great because they target the hesitant shoppers, not the ones who already know what they want to buy from the start and go all the way through the checkout process without any discount incentive. Last but not least, pop-ups are great for collecting insights from your visitors or customers on your site. You can, for example, measure user satisfaction and identify weak spots in your product or website experience, or enrich your CRM with survey data so that you can better segment your audience. And here's an example of post-purchase survey. In this campaign, the brand was encouraging new customers who just completed a purchase to describe their shopping experience with a 10% discount incentive on their next order. 114 customers out of 604 took the survey, resulting in a 19% conversion rate. Through this simple survey, the company learned, for example, that the payment process didn't work on mobile devices and that the login process before checking out created friction for some shoppers. Now you can imagine how valuable those insights were as the brand was able to react quickly and fix what needed to be fixed. Finally, pop-ups are also useful when it comes to informing your website visitors about product updates, like when a product is out of stock or back in stock, announcing a new collection, or spreading important news. For example, many companies and brands are using pop-ups to give visibility to COVID-related updates and informations. Okay, now let's move to the best practices and conversion optimization tips part. In this section, I'll share how to create high-converting pop-up campaigns. Based on our analysis, we identified 4 main aspects to take into consideration to optimize conversions. So here's our lead capture formula you can follow each time you create a pop-up campaign. Timing. Ask email and phone numbers when your visitors are more likely to pay attention. Offer. Find something to convince them to subscribe, like a discount, an exclusive offer, content, etc. Wording. Explain why your visitors should subscribe. And finally, design a pop-up form that's visible and catchy. Now let's deep dive into each of these aspects. Lesson number 1. Never interrupt. One of the critical aspects to be mindful of when creating a pop-up campaign is timing. Our data shows that displaying a pop-up right away is the best way to maximize the number of emails collected, and displaying a pop-up after 1 page or more is the best way to maximize the conversion rate. As a general rule, I would recommend to let your visitors interact with your site and experience your brand before inviting them to sign up or perform a specific action. One of the main reasons a lot of users get pissed off about pop-ups is that they keep showing up again and again. So do your visitors a favor and set your pop-up to appear only once in a while and set a maximum number of displays for your campaigns so that your loyal users don't have to keep seeing your pop-ups all the time. Another tip for a better user experience is to use a tab or a teaser to give control to the visitor to open or reopen your pop-ups, especially on mobile as the screen is smaller. If you're unfamiliar, a tab acts as a preview of your pop-up and shows before and after visitors see the full version of your pop-up. In other words, when a visitor sees your pop-up and closes it, the form minimizes to the tab position and stays there. So when the visitor is ready to claim your offer, they can easily reopen the form and interact with it. I personally love this feature. By using it, you give control to your visitors so that they can engage with your pop-ups as much or as little as they want, and that guarantees a better user experience. To sum it up, when you think about the best timing for your pop-up, try to remember this analogy. When you go to the restaurant, you expect the waiter or waitress to take your drink order before you start eating or in between meals, not when you have your mouth full of food. Well, the same logic applies to pop-up timing. Trigger them when your visitors are most likely to pay attention, so either when they land on your website or in between page loads. Not when they are in the middle of something, like when they've just started reading your blog article, for example. Otherwise, your pop-up will interrupt their navigation and it will likely create friction. Lesson number 2, you need an offer. Nobody wants to sign up for website updates. You can do better. People may be interested in your brand and want updates, but using this kind of boring offer is a sure way to decrease your conversion rate. We found out that people usually respond better to incentivization or gamification, and the data speaks for itself. 1% conversion rate for pop-ups without any offer, 5% for pop-up displaying a coupon or a discount, and 24% for gamified pop-ups. This benchmark is based on a sample of 54 e-commerce pop-ups. And here's a great example of a gamified pop-up campaign from one of our clients. Fagwo collects about 6,000 emails per month thanks to this simple spin-to-win campaign created with WisePops. To drive even more conversions, they made the pop-up full screen with a nice background image that matches their brand identity. Incentives don't always have to be a coupon or a discount. To give you some inspiration, here are some examples of ways you can incentivize visitors to sign up. You can offer knowledge with courses, ebooks, case studies, or webinars. Offer solutions or products such as step-by-step guides, giveaways, samples, free access to a service or a tool. Or even offer a way to save time by offering templates or checklists to download. And like we've mentioned, you can offer a way to save money with coupons, free shipping, or discounts. Using a countdown timer to create a sense of urgency or fear of missing out will also help you increase your conversion rates. When something is about to go away, it becomes more attractive. And to avoid missing out, we take action. A lot of marketers are using this fear of missing out to their marketing strategies to generate urgency and scarcity to drive even more sales. The best way to leverage these on-site is to use countdown timers in your pop-ups. In our study, we found out that pop-ups with a countdown timer convert better than those without one. Lesson number 3. To build effective pop-ups that drive visitors to take action, you have to use the right copy. Having a great design is important, coming up with an irresistible offer is essential. Timing and placement both matter a great deal, but when it comes to creating pop-ups that ultimately convince people to convert, words matter above all else. In pop-ups, the words you use help visitors quickly understand and recognize your brand voice, style, and personality. They help you manage expectations and leave a good first impression on the people who land on your website for the first time. Words will help you build trust and persuade your visitors to take action. And here are some key takeaways from our analysis. Keeping it short is the way to go. To make a pop-up work, the visitor has to understand what they gain from it from the moment it appears. Try to make it no more than 2 seconds to scan the pop-up. Talk like your customers to create connection and drive more engagement. Focus on the why with words like get healthier, save more energy, etc. Also use power words such as get it, want it, join us, win, etc. And finally, overcome potential objections by letting them know they can unsubscribe at any time and that you won't spam them. Here's a tip. Always take the time to launch 2 or more variations of your pop-up with different versions of your copy in order to determine which pop-up converts the most visitors. To identify the copy that converts most visitors, spend time A/B testing the following elements: headline variations, value proposition variations, and remember here to think about the benefits, CTA button copy variations, like testing sign up versus get coupon code, and finally, you can also test the copy length with a minimal versus longer paragraph, for instance. Tools like WisePops offer an A/B testing feature, so I highly recommend using it to optimize your campaigns and conversions. Lesson number 4. When it comes to email pop-up, design matters more than you think, so it's important to take your time on this aspect, even if you're not a designer. Rule number 1. Match your brand. Don't risk your visitors thinking that your pop-up is a third-party ad. Use colors and visuals that are consistent with your brand, and use sufficient contrast or overlays to make sure your message stands out. With tools like WisePops, you can easily customize your pop-up design by changing the colors, fonts, visuals, and even add CSS to match your brand identity. Rule number 2. When designing pop-up, I strongly recommend creating 2 campaigns, one for mobile and one for desktop and tablets. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, a few years ago, Google released some strict guidelines regarding SEO and mobile pop-ups to ensure that they don't interfere with the user experience. Their guidelines applies to only mobile search results, so you want to be even more mindful about size, timing, and design when displaying a pop-up on mobile devices than on desktop. Also, mobile is completely different in terms of usage, and as the screen size is much more smaller, you cannot get the same efficiency you get from desktop pop-ups on smartphones. So don't feel like desktop and mobile pop-ups need to be identical. You can design pop-ups for each device type. And here's an example. As you can see in the left picture, Carbon 38 desktop pop-up has a wide pop-up that covers the whole page. This is not a penalty-causing pop-up as it is meant for the desktop screen. On the right, we see how they optimize the same pop-up for mobile devices. They cut the large picture altogether and left a reasonable amount of space that shows web page content. Rule number 3. Use visuals. We found that pop-ups with images convert better than pop-ups without images. So if you're currently using a pop-up without an image, test it against a pop-up with an image relating to the offer you're promoting. You'll likely see a slight bump in conversions. Rule number 4. Less is more, especially when it comes to input fields. It's a challenge all online marketers face. You want to learn more about your visitors, so you add more questions to your pop-ups. But with more input fields comes more annoyance and fewer form submissions. Our data suggests that conversions drop significantly when pop-ups have more than 2 input fields. One trick you can use is to ask your questions in multiple steps. This way you can collect data without hurting your conversions. WisePops offer this option. You can activate the multi-step form by switching on the toggle button in your sign-up or survey block. One quick tip regarding design and visuals. Faces of people have been proven to increase conversions. So next time you create a campaign, try adding a human touch. Alright, so I won't go over each do's and don'ts because I think you've had enough information, but the main aspects I want to emphasize on when it comes to pop-up best practices are to be mindful about user experience by making sure you don't interrupt their navigation, using page or time delays, for example, or using frequency settings to make sure your visitors don't get too many pop-ups during their session or see the same pop-up too many times. Use targeting rules to make sure you deliver the right message to the right audience. And finally, make sure that you follow design best practices and guidelines, especially when it comes to mobile devices. One last advice for this session. Try to be as customer-centric as possible. We've seen that segmentation is key when creating high-converting pop-up campaigns. So spend some time on getting to know who your customers are and build strategies around their needs and behaviors. A great way to approach pop-ups is to differentiate between first-time visitors, returning subscribers, and existing customers, and create multiple pop-ups that target each visitor based on where they are in the buyer's journey. For example, you could target new visitors with a giveaway pop-up to capture their email addresses, while promoting a limited time offer to returning subscribers to drive more sales. More targeted pop-ups lead to higher conversions and happier visitors, so try to keep that in mind. I wanted to finish this session by showing one last success story of another brand that we've mentioned before, Fagwo, who started using WisePops in April 2020. As you can see, they started by collecting about 500 emails in the first months, and 1 year later, they collected over 60,000 emails in a year. So don't forget that you can start small and grow big. Your conversions will grow as your business grows and traffic grows, of course, but you can also accelerate the process by following the best practices I've outlined in this session. And also remember to enjoy the journey and to look back and appreciate your accomplishments. Now it's time for you to make the changes or get started with your first campaign. Thank you so much for joining me on this masterclass. Don't hesitate to email me or add me on LinkedIn if you have any questions or feedbacks regarding this presentation. In the meantime, have a great day.